Let's continue working on algorithms. So as I said in the previous class, we're going to be working with algorithms for a few classes because this is an essential part of your major. It's important that you're comfortable with algorithms, especially the algorithms related to sequences. So in this lecture we're going to go through two algorithms. One algorithm I'm going to show you how to convert that into Python, and then the other algorithm I'm going to assign you to convert to Python. So let's go through the first one. So in this algorithm you have to compute the smallest number in a sequence of numbers, right? So we in the previous lecture we wrote a basic we saw a basic algorithm where you had three numbers, you find the minimum of the three. So the idea is similar now, but we have a sequence of numbers. So we have to make sure that our input is a sequence of numbers now, and the output is again the minimum value in the sequence. So now the idea is the same. We start with the first number in the sequence. We set min equal to the first number, and then we want to, so now in this case this is a sample sequence. We start with the first one, and then we're gonna compare the first one with the second one. If the second one, so this is a loop that runs from the second one to the last one. Now we're going to compare each so we're going to compare each with the min. If any number is less than this minimum value, we're going to set the min equal to that number, and then that's going to go through the whole sequence and then return the minimum value. Okay, so that's the algorithm, and let's go through the next one, and then in the next video I'll show you how to convert this guy into Python syntax. Now in this one is a bit trickier than the previous one. You have to write an algorithm to count duplicates in a pair of sequence, in a duplicate pairs in a sequence. How many pairs are there, duplicate pairs are there in a sequence? So let's see how this works. We have so again the input is going to be a sequence of numbers, and then what you're returning in this case is the count, which is basically the number of pairs in the sequence. So again we start with count, setting count equal to 0, right? That's an assignment. And then we have two loops in this case. Now we need two loops because one loop is gonna basically go through each number, and then this so it's going to go one by one to each number, and then the second loop is going to compare that single number with each of the numbers, right, the other numbers. So we start with the outer loop. You can see runs from I equals 1 to n minus 1. We don't need to go to the to the last number in the outer, because the inner loop is going to go to the last one. So we start with I equals 1 in the inner loop, and the outer loop you can see starts with I plus 1, right? It has to start with the next one and then has to go to the end, and then remember is the length of the sequence. So whenever the algorithm finds a duplicate, right, then it's going to increase the variable count by 1. Okay, so and this is gonna end the for statements, and you return count, which is going to be the output of your program. So let's look at this sample sequence. How does this work? So let's say that now you enter a sequence of numbers 1, 5, 6, 5, right? So there are 4 numbers in the sequence. The length of the sequence is 4. So now in this case n minus 1 is going to be 3, right? And n is going to be 4, right? So now let's see how it works. So I is going to be 1, which means that we're starting with the first one, right? So this is the subscript. You're going to start with A1, right? Now remember the last time I said that Python goes, or any language goes in the inner loop, finishes it, and then goes to the outer loop, right? So so you get j. So this is going to be 2, right? So I is 1. I is going to start with 1, and then j is going to go from okay. Let's sequences. So I is going to be 1 in the first iteration, and j is going to run from 2 to 4, 2 to n. So then it's going to start over here, and it's going to compare this with that, this with that, and this with that. So that's going to be the first iteration, right? In the second iteration, I is going to be 2, right? So that's going to be a 2, and it's going to compare this with that. At this point, in the second iteration, it's going to increase count to 1, right? So the second iteration count would be 1. And in the third iteration, you can see that it's just going to compare 3 and 4, right? And so finally, this is going to be the last value where the algorithm stops, and then it's just going to return 1 in this case. Now this algorithm, right? So the assignment for this, or the worksheet for this class, is that you have to write this in Python. I know it's a bit challenging, but go ahead, try it. I'm going to show you in the next video. I'm going to show you how to convert the previous algorithm in Python, and let me know if you have any. I'm going to be on the discussions section as usual. Let me know if you have any questions while you're writing the program. Okay, have a good one.